I will be presenting a part of George Saunders' Advice to Graduate speech. Down through the ages, a traditional form has evolved for this type of speech, which is some old fart, his best years behind him, who over the course of his life has made a series of dreadful mistakes. That would be me. Gives heartfelt advice to a group of shining, energetic young people with all their best years ahead of them. That would be you. And I intend to respect that tradition. Now, one useful thing you can do with an old person, in addition to borrowing money from them or asking them to do one of their old time dances so you can stand there and laugh at them, is ask, looking back, what do you regret? And they'll tell you. Sometimes, as you know, they'll tell you even if you haven't asked. Sometimes, even when you've specifically requested they not tell you, they'll tell you. So, what do I regret? Being poor from time to time? Not really. Working terrible jobs like knuckle puller in a slaughterhouse? And don't even ask what that entails. No, I don't regret that. Skinny dipping in Sumatra, a little buzz, and looking up and seeing like 300 monkeys sitting on a pipeline pooping down into the river. The river in which I was swimming, with my mouth open, not wearing anything. And getting deathly ill afterwards and staying sick for the next 7 months, not so much. Do I regret the occasional humiliation, like once playing hockey in front of a big crowd, including this girl I really liked? I somehow managed, while falling and emitting this weird whooping noise, to score in my own goalie, while also sending my stick flying into the crowd, nearly hitting that girl. No, I don't even regret that. But here's something I do regret. In 7th grade, this new kid joined our class. In the interest of confidentiality, her convocation speech name will be Ellen. Ellen was small, shy. She wore those blue cat's eye glasses that at the time only old ladies wore. When nervous, which was pretty much always, she had a habit of taking a strand of hair into her mouth and chewing on it. So she came to our school and our neighborhood and was mostly ignored. Occasionally teased. Your hair tastes good? That kind of stuff. I could see this hurt her. I still remember that way she looked after such an insult. Eyes cast down, a little gut kicked, as if having just been reminded of her place in things, she was trying as much as possible to disappear. After a while, she drifted away, hair strands still in her mouth. At home, I imagined after school her mother would say, how was your day, sweetie? And she'd say, oh, fine. And her mother would say, making any friends? And she'd go, sure, lots. Sometimes I'd see her hanging around alone in her front yard as if afraid to leave it. And then they moved. That was it. No tragedy, no big final hazing. One day she was there, the next day she wasn't. End of story. Now, why do I regret that? Why, 42 years later, am I still thinking about it? Relative to most of the other kids, I was pretty nice to her. I never said an unkind word to her. In fact, I sometimes even mildly defended her. But it still bothered me. So here's something I know to be true. Although it's a little corny and I don't quite know what to do with it, what do I regret most in life? Are failures of kindness. Those moments when another human being was there in front of me, suffering, I responded sensibly, reservedly, mildly. Or, to look at it from the other end of the telescope, who in your life do you remember most fondly with the most undeniable feeling of warmth? Those who were the kindest to you, I bet. It's a little facile, maybe, and certainly hard to implement, but I'd say, as a goal in life, you could do worse than trying to be kinder. Now, the million-dollar question. What's our problem? Why aren't we kinder? Here's what I think. Each of us are born with a series of built-in confusions that are probably somehow Darwinian. These are, 1, we're central to the universe. That is, our personal story is the main and most interesting story. The only story, really. 2, we're separate from the universe. There's us, and then out there, all the other junk, dogs and swing sets, and the state of Nebraska, and low-hanging clouds, and, other people. And 3, we're permanent. Death is real. Okay, sure, for you, but not for me. Now, we don't really believe these things intellectually. We know better, but we believe them vicariously and live by them. And they cause us to prioritize our own needs over needs of others, even though what we really want in our hearts is to be less selfish, more aware of what's actually happening in the present moment, more open, more loving. So, quick end of speech advice, since according to me, your life is going to be a gradual process of becoming kinder and more loving. Hurry up, speed it along, start right now. There's a confusion in each of us, a sickness really, selfishness. But there's also a cure. So be a good and proactive and even somewhat desperate patient on your own behalf. Seek out the most efficacious and anti-selfishness medicines energetically for the rest of your life. And someday, in 80 years, when you're 100 and I'm 134 and we're both so kind and loving we're nearly unbearable, drop me a line. Let me know how your life has been. I hope you say it's been so wonderful. Congratulations, class of 2013.